Let's talk about the Giannis trade demands. This is something I've had in my mental content queue for a while now. I can't stand when players demand a trade, the media asks about the trade, and then the players act like they're somehow the victim and that there are all of these rumors, and yet the player can't quite bring themselves to stating, I am not requesting a trade. I do not want to be traded. If they just state that unequivocally, right, then the rumors go away because there you have it directly. But that's not what happens, and that's not what's happening with Giannis. Giannis is actually relying on a technicality. The technicality being that it's not him personally that's demanding a trade from the Bucks. It's his agent. So he's not really demanding a trade. It's all outside of his control. Today he had a media session, and this really sealed this video because I've been thinking about this one for a while, but this media session was especially ridiculous. And the best clip is what we're going to start with. So we'll play that right now.
Again, if my agent is talking to the Bucks about it, he's his own person. He can have any conversation he wants about it. That doesn't. At the end of the day, I don't work
First of all, that doesn't make any sense. Your agent acts on behalf of you. So if your agent is making a trade request, it is because you have asked for a trade request.
for my agent. My agent works for me,
All right. And so he just sealed that. He says, I don't work for my agent. My agent works for me. So that means you made the trade request.
and there's going to be conversation that's going to be made between him and the Bucks, and him and his other players, and him and other teams and other GMs, executives around the league. It's something that we can't control.
So then he introduces some kind of vague confusion into the discussion. What is even happening here? All you have to say is, I did not demand a trade from the Bucks. I did not request a trade from the Bucks. I want to stay here. But no, we have to go along with this drawn out, confusing, ambiguous storyline that he wants to put out.
But at the end of the day, I personally have not had the conversation with the Bucks.
There it is. At the end of the day, which he loves to say, at the end of the day, I have not personally had a conversation with the Bucks. Okay, but did you direct your agent to have a conversation with the Bucks? And of course, the answer is yes. And let's go to 8 minutes and 13 seconds in.
Just telling the same thing. Like right now, we cannot be warning about what the rumors are. Like talk about rumors and headlines, and which hey, I appreciate. I know you got.
Okay, so then he goes to the rumors and he acts as if, okay, well, we can't control this. There are rumors going on. All you have to do is say, I don't want to be traded, and the rumors go away. The rumors persist because you are seeking a trade. It's coming out, and then you're in the situation where you're trying to deny it, but at the same time, you can't deny it because that's what's happening. And I think this is all because he doesn't want to be seen as Americanized. He doesn't want to come across as yet another superstar who is forcing their way out of a team. But of course, that's what's happening. He wants out of Milwaukee. And he looks worse because he just won't admit it. And so we have more clips to go through, starting at, let's see, 12:39.
Like the other day, I was approached about, hey man, you deleted all the Buck stuff from your show. You deleted it. I'm like, bro, the young generation, they just pay attention so much to that. What does that mean? Like, what is me deleting the bug stuff from the social media, my social media platform? What does that mean? I'm not going to show up to work. I'm not like, I don't understand. I think like people give so much attention to that, and
Well, one, you're the one with the social media, and I think it's a warranted question. If you're going to delete Buck stuff, that why are you deleting Buck stuff? Why would you need to go back and delete Bucks basketball posts? And I don't know. I'm not following Giannis on Instagram or whatever wherever he deleted his posts, but you deleted Buck stuff. Obviously, social media is prevalent, important, and you maintain this account. So why are you deleting content? And then later he says it's because he wants to be more private, which doesn't really make any sense. But I think that's a fair question. And it's not just a younger generation thing. You have a social media account. You're the one that has the account. You post the stuff, and then now you're taking it down, and it happens to be for the Milwaukee Bucks. So why would you take down posts for the Bucks?
I told him my intention was not to. First of all, I did not delete the bug stuff. Like my Jimmy Paskey shirt, championship trophies there, the NBA Cup trophies there, all the moments that mean something to me is there. But I want to be more private moving forward, as much as I can. I want to be a little bit more private. Plus,
So you need to be private by not having Milwaukee Bucks posts. And then he also, even in his explanation, he says that he left some Bucks stuff, the stuff that's important to him. And it sounds like it's important to him personally, just because those are moments in time. I don't know what he did or did not delete, but if he really is taking down posts, I mean, come on, Giannis, like, what do you think's going to happen?
That's how I protect my family.
Oh, now he's protecting his family by removing Milwaukee Bucks posts.
Yes. Yes.
So the reporter is asking, "You're saying that your agents are adults and they can do whatever they want," and then he says, "But they're working for you."
Is this a situation where you don't want private conversations or regular conversations to get out? Because somewhere in the communication line, what they're doing or what you're directing them to do is getting out and cut. Like, I mean, if you can kind of control some of that stuff if they do work.
So the reporter just said, "You can kind of control some of that stuff." No, he can control all of it. The agents aren't going off on their own and deciding, you know what, today is the day that Giannis is going to demand a trade. There's no way in the world that would ever happen. This is all at the direction of Giannis. And so let's hear his answer to this.
I can listen. At the end of the day, like I tell my wife all the time.
All right, so now he talks about his wife and how she goes to Target, and he says that she needs to stop going to Target, and he says she's a grown woman, I can't control her. And so then we get back to the fact he can't control his agents. This could all be over with if he would just. I wish the reporters would ask this. They did. To be fair to the reporters, they did ask about the trade multiple times, but if they would just ask, do you want out of Milwaukee? Just there it is, right? There's no need to hide behind this ambiguity and this forced confusion that's going on from Giannis. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to skip to 2307 and we'll end it here.
I really don't like. But I understand what part of media is to sell a story, right? And keep on creating a narrative, and so people can stay tuned in and keep on enjoying the NBA season and think about the possibility that you know Luka might come to the Bucks. Can you imagine that? Like Luka might come to the Bucks.
Okay, so here we have the classic superstar blames the media and creating a narrative. You can end this right now. This is you, Giannis. I just admit that you're open to a trade, or that you've requested a trade, or that if things don't go a certain way, then you're going to request a trade. You don't have to hide behind this fake veil of it wasn't you, it's the media driving this narrative, and that's why they're creating all of the rumors. This is totally unnecessary and absolutely ridiculous. And Giannis finds himself now playing the part as yet another basketball superstar who is forcing their way out. But he's actually, this is worse because now he's just pretending that he's not the one doing this. And we've got more on this. This is just the start. We've got Brian Windhorst one day stating that Giannis has requested a trade, and then the next day stating that, well, he didn't actually request a trade. So let's actually go to that right now. We've got ESPN. This is Inside the NBA. This is the NBA Today. So let's listen to what Brian Windhorst says on December 3rd.
It won't be that way. It'll be Giannis instructing the Bucks where he wants to be traded, and then the Bucks trying to make the best possible deal with that team. And this already happened. Shams reported this a couple of months ago. You can put out whatever verbiage you want around it about whether he requested it or asked for it or hinted at it, but he basically said, I want to be a Knick. Can you make me a Knick? And they had discussions.
There it is. He requested a trade, and that's Brian Windhorst put up the quotes. You can put whatever verbiage around it. And so that's what's happening here. This is all a technicality from Giannis because he doesn't want to be seen as forcing his way out of the Bucks. So this was on December 3rd on ESPN. Then we go to December 4th on the Rich Eisen show. Here's Brian Windhorst once again.
Gone up and said, I want to be traded. Giannis has just expressed frustration.
I'm going to have to slow this down. I've got it out too fast. Let's actually go back a few seconds.
Gone up and said, I want to be traded. Giannis has just expressed frustration, and his agent has had to be sort of the guy behind the scenes that has talked about stuff. And so I understand.
So there, I mean, this just all gets into how ridiculous this is. This is so absurd. So Brian Windhorst now is seemingly backtracking from his statement a day earlier, and this might be because Giannis got to him or someone told him that that's not actually what happened technically, but he's stating that Giannis is frustrated, and so his agent is the one talking.
Understand that what people want is, does he want to be traded or not? It's a simple yes or no question that doesn't have a simple answer because he's elected to sort of try to go through the process without, having a firm decision. He's just not thrilled with where they are, but he doesn't know if he wants to go forward. So in the last 24 hours,
he knows he wants to be traded. The answer is simple. Yes or no. And you already know the state of the Bucks. The Bucks have beyond mortgaged their future. They are done. They want Giannis to stay desperately. He's gone. He doesn't want to be there anymore. And if I'm the Bucks, I'm actually looking to trade him. I'm not going. If someone doesn't want to be there, then send them off, right? Like Giannis clearly doesn't want to be there, no matter how wishy-washy he is with his public statements. He clearly wants to go. The trade rumors persist, and it's because of Giannis, even if it wasn't technically Giannis speaking the trade demand. So that was Brian Windhorst's one clip. Let's play one more clip because then this gets into the semantics of it all. 5-12.
They feel good about their team. So I promise you, the Bucks were not looking to this negotiation.
Yeah, right there. This is not about the Bucks. The Bucks want to keep. Obviously, the Bucks want to keep Giannis. They stretched Damian Lillard. They signed Miles Turner. They're trying anything to get into some kind of pretender status so that they can pretend that they're contending for a championship. They're desperate here, but it's just not happening.
And I promise you, the Knicks weren't preparing for this negotiation.
So the Bucks weren't trying to trade Giannis. The Knicks didn't even know that Giannis was available.
And I promise you, the negotiation took place. What are we left with, Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, did he ask to be traded? I mean, Doc Rivers can look you in the eye and say, no, he didn't ask to be traded. But clearly, this was an action that Giannis had some interest in. And look, because he didn't demand to be traded, he wasn't traded. They talked, the two sides talked, no deal came through.
This is all so long and drawn out. If I'm the Milwaukee franchise, I'm trading him just so that we need to be done with this. Like, it needs to be over. Or I'm going to take the hardline approach, and I should have looked up when his contract ends, but I'm just going to say, you know what? We'll wait until your contract's about to end, and then we're trading you. And because the teams, I don't know why the teams just give in to these trade demands so easily. With the Spurs, with Kawhi Leonard, you saw the Spurs just fold and immediately trade him and get a horrible return on a pre-prime superstar, really. And they traded him away for very, very little. But here, if I'm the Bucks, sure, you can demand a trade, but if there's nothing here, then there's nothing we can do, and we're not going to force it to our detriment, right? We're going to keep you. You're an asset. We'll trade you when we want to trade you, but I think the Bucks are they want to do Giannis a favor, and so we've got some more clips. Let's go here. We've got a. So I remember this from the Luka Doncic trade because this was interesting. This was when there were earlier rumors about Giannis wanting his way out of the Bucks, and then we had Luka Doncic traded, and then you have this locker room reaction from Giannis.
This is it's a business. You have to understand this. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. If a five-time All NBA first team, a 25-year-old, a guy that was just made it to the finals 7 months ago, a guy that led the league in scoring, a guy that finished, I think, second or third in MVP. No, but I'm
okay. So there, he's saying nobody's safe, and so I think part of that is Giannis stating, "Well, the Bucks could trade me at any time." The Bucks aren't trading you. Obviously, that was a sham trade that wasn't realistic. It only happened because the Lakers needed a superstar and they needed a lifeline. But the Bucks never indicated once that they want to trade Giannis. But he took that opportunity to go ahead and state that nobody's safe, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be traded, and it could happen. And I had that in my mind. I've always had this mental note in my mind, like Giannis really seizing upon the Luka trade to make it seem like, I could get traded. Like, this is just a business. This could happen to anybody. For the most part, especially with a small market team, they're not looking to get rid of franchise superstars. So let's see. We've got some articles too where we have some quotes, and this is where I get to the Americanized part. So this one article talks about, we have a quote from Giannis. Lately, people have told me, the closest people, my family, my girlfriend, my mom, my brothers, people say that I cannot be the face of the league because I'm not American. I don't have the American culture in me. I sat back and thought about that. Should I have a little bit more American swag? Should I come with a suit to the game? Should I be more Americanized? But man, if I can't be the face of the league being me, I don't want to be the face of the league. That's pretty much it. So I think there have been several instances where Giannis is really slighting the Americans. And I think it's because he doesn't like the way that they've come across. But now that he finds himself in a situation where he doesn't think he can win, and he's towards the latter half of his career, now it's him that's forcing his way out. And I think that's what this comes down to. He just doesn't like the way that it is. Like, he doesn't like actually how it comes across as what he's doing, because it is what he's doing. He's demanding a trade. He's seeking out of Milwaukee, but he doesn't want to be like those other players that did in the past. And that's not all. Let's see if there's one more clip here. No, there are more quotes we have here. It's easy to go somewhere and go win a championship with someone else. It's easy. I could go. And then he stopped and he said, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I could go to a super team and just do my part and win a championship. But this is the hard way to do it. And this is the way to do it. And we did it. We effing did it. We did it, man. So here, Giannis going against anybody that's joined forces, created a super team to win a championship. And so here you see that strong hint of, I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay with my team. And then here we have another quote. I couldn't leave. Antetokounmpo said of his 2020 decision to stay. There was a job that had to be finished. Coming back, I was like, this is my city. They trust me. They believe in me. They believe in us. Even when we lost, the city was on our side. And obviously I just wanted to get the job done. So they're stating, I'm with Milwaukee. I'm stating, and I don't want to leave. I don't want to be like, that's what we're getting the traces of. Is like, I don't want to be like these other players that are wanting out and demanding trades. And then here we have a paragraph. This was from December 15th on Yahoo Sports. Antetokounmpo claims that he's not driving the trade speculation, according to insider Chris Haynes, and seemingly doesn't want to be mentioned in the long list of quote unquote petulant NBA stars who have forced their way to a new team. So that's what I've been getting at. I couldn't find a quote that was more on point, but we see this really, you see all of the plots around, I don't want to be another superstar who is just forcing their way out. And we have a tweet here from the Dunk Central, and this is a report from Chris Haynes. Giannis is reportedly uncomfortable with all of the trade rumors. From the conversation I had with him a week ago, he said he's not comfortable with all of the rumors. He claims it's not coming from him. Most of these conversations are coming from his representatives. Giannis, this is you. Your representatives are representing you. So just because there's a technicality in that you're not actually the one who is demanding the trade, you're still demanding the trade. This is you. You are the superstar who is forcing your way out of a team. Let's see if I have any more clips. I think I have one more. We have a clip it's a highlight from about a month ago. The Bucks were playing the Knicks, and I took note of this as well because I thought it was so interesting that we have Giannis. Actually, you know what? Let's just play the clip. He says, he points to the Bucks on his jersey and he says, this is my city. So they're making a statement that comes across to me like, I'm staying here. This is my city. I'm not going anywhere. And then he continues on, and I can't read his lips. I think it's possible he states something along the lines of, I'm not going anywhere. But let me go ahead and slow down this clip and let's just go through this and see if anybody can read Giannis's lips. So let's play it at 0.5. So I don't know what he says, but he shakes his head. So it makes me think that something along the lines of, I'm not going anywhere, but I can't read his lips. But he does say, this is my city. And so here you have Giannis conflicted. It's coming across, but he wants out. And he wants it to come across like it wasn't his doing, like he didn't force his way out. But Giannis, your agents represent you. They act on behalf of you. It's you that are directing the agents. The agents wouldn't come up with this on their own. You want out of Milwaukee, and you're like the other superstars who have forced their way out of a team. You want it to come across differently, but it's the same thing.